It's that time of year, so I thought I'd make a video about feeders I've used in previous years and my favorites and reasons I like them and reasons that I don't like some of them. I'm not sure if they consider this an in-hive feeder or a hive top feeder, but you place it on top of the hive and the bees go up into here, and it holds 2 gallons of syrup, so it bulk feeds them quite quickly in the fall when they're taking in syrup really well. I didn't get it cleaned up. I do not use these 2 feeders anymore. I used them for a couple of years, especially this one I used for a couple of years, because they can just take down so much syrup. It's easy to get 6 gallons of syrup into a double colony very quickly if they'll take it. I tend to leave my feeders on really late, or sometimes with the in-hive feeders like this one, I have left them in over winter, but I think the ones that I left in, I took this off and put some canvas down in there, and some of the hives, the really strong ones, were fine, but the weak ones, it didn't help them at all. Some people worry about the moisture. I didn't have that problem. It was that the weaker ones, if I put it on the outside, or even in the spring if I put it beside them, they were just, couldn't move, I guess, when it was colder, and just not enough of them could get into it, because they have to go down inside the feeder, right down to the bottom. You usually get a buildup of dead bees in this, but I am using them this year. I probably won't leave them over winter. They're really handy for building up singles from a nuke. You put this feeder in with 8 frames for them to draw. It works good for that. Back to this feeder, so like I said, the things I liked about it was you could just feed so much. You didn't have to come refill it a lot. I did not like I said, I leave my feeders in pretty late. When you take it off, you have a huge amount of bees on the bottom of the feeder, and if it's cooler, they are not happy bees. This feeder I used the least of any of my feeders. For some reason, it didn't have any holes in here. We drilled these holes. My bees did not go into it well. They used this part pretty good. They didn't figure out these parts. And then you have to make a rim for it. You can see I used it some. You have to make a rim for it, and it goes on top of the hive, so you have the same problem as this when you go to take it off or check your bees or do anything. There's a lot of bees on the bottom of the feeder. It's not like if you have any syrup in it, you can't pick it up and just knock the bees off into the hive and you'll dump your syrup on them. So it's not easy to take off, I guess what I say about these 2 feeders. This one, they used it pretty good. It's hard to get the bees out of here as well, out of this mesh. It's hard to get them to figure out how to get out. Like I said, they didn't use these corners in this feeder very well at all. They come up here some, but my bees, majority of them didn't work with this kind of feeder very well. This is a tiny feeder. Oh, I think this one holds a gallon, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. This little feeder only holds a quarter of a gallon. So it's good for like nuke feeding, or just, I don't know, topping them up. I do not like the ventilated lid. You would think it would be better for not getting humidity in your hive, but it also, you're getting this little feeder part also has holes, so you're actually letting cold air directly into your hive. So that's why I don't like the holes in the lid. It doesn't touch the lid, which is good. The holes I like here because you can dump syrup on here and it will go down into the hive. Go down into the hive if you dump syrup on top. It will go directly down into the hive and encourage them to come up. If you can get it, drop down on the little stairway that they make for bees in these feeders. You can see this is ribbed. Then it drizzles down and they come up much better into the feeder. Like I said, it's only 1/4 of a gallon, so it's not good for regular size hives, for doubles. Only for weaker hives or topping them up, or nukes. Good. It's good for nukes. Something that I really like about it is it's actually a the little spout part here to go down into the hive is a little longer, so you know when it's sitting in the hole, you can feel it, it's stuck there. That's a good thing about it. 1/2 gallon. I got it from Amazon. I also got the little yellow one from Amazon, and they're fairly expensive now. They weren't that expensive when I bought them, but this lid is not flat, so it doesn't touch this, which is good. This has no holes in it, so I usually have to take this off to drizzle the syrup down here. This is also very thin and has cracked. All these feeders I've had 2 years or more, but this one is not going to last very much longer. Outside is fine. This is actually so light that sometimes the bees can push it up. These are strong. It's very light. The bees can actually get into the feeder, which is absolutely not what you want. They drown because they're trapped in there. Sometimes when the sugar is crystallized under here, they get up into it and eat it, which is okay, but still I would prefer this to be much heavier and not as breakable. This is not recyclable plastic as far as I can tell. I don't know if this is recyclable plastic. I don't see anything on it where you can tell it's recyclable. It might be. I don't know. It doesn't say. It's a thick plastic. It's durable, other than all these little parts. I don't like them very much. This says it's recyclable on it, but I don't know if it just means the lid and probably this part. See, this one has a much thicker, this part says it's recyclable. So I guess it's just the lid. Oh no, this one does too. So this whole thing is recyclable. I appreciate that. I don't like plastic as it is, but if it's recyclable, it's better plastic. This apparently is a man lake feeder. You would think it feels like a recyclable plastic. I don't see a recyclable symbol on it though. So the frame feeder, I don't know. It doesn't have a recyclable sign on it. This feeder is my favorite feeder. I wish I had more of them. That is the most annoying thing about this feeder. The lid touches that. You can see the water under it. So when you lift it off, a lot of the time it's stuck there and it lets all your bees out into your syrup. That is not good. It does have the holes in the lid. So you can drizzle syrup into the hive without opening this. It has perforated edges everywhere for the little ladders for the bees. It sits in here pretty good. I haven't had it ever lift so the bees could get in the feeder. The only time it lifts is if it's stuck to the lid, which is very annoying. I've had these for at least 4 years. I have some cracked lids. The squirrel has chewed on that lid. It feels like it's easily cracked plastic. Like I said, the lids have cracked. The only time that a body has cracked is because of abuse. I think I have a cracked lid here somewhere. I have 20 of these. I ordered them from Ontario. I've never seen them for sale in Saskatchewan. They really need to be. I think for a hobbyist, they're the best feeder. I've never used a bucket feeder. I am worried about using a bucket feeder because if that syrup runs into your hive, obviously that is not a good thing, and I'm really worried about it. So that's why I don't use the bucket feeders. These feeders, these hive top feeders, you can leave them on as long as it's fairly warm. They actually fit under pretty much any kind of insulation you're using. So you can feed as long as it's fairly warm. Like, obviously your insulated hive is warmer than your outside temperature. When it's single digits outside, they're a lot warmer than that inside, and they're still taking feed. So I like these. I can feed them in warm spells during the winter, I guess you can say. In February we've had warm spells. I can start feeding early in March underneath their winter covers. I'm going to try to make some of these. So that's my video on hive feeders I have used. The only reason I'm dissing bucket feeders, pail feeders, is because I'm afraid to use them. I've never used them. I've just heard of them draining into hives. So I've used some flow frames, like Chinese kind of flow frames, and they have drained into the hives. So I know what it's like. It's a mess, and you don't want your bees drowning in syrup, obviously.